I mean, it's interesting that we've been around for 12 years, really, but people still think that this is our first game. And in many ways, it feels like it is our first game because it is very different from what we've done before. But what's really good about it is that everyone has like truly embraced it and truly enjoyed working on it and just like been just as eager as I am to create this emotional and beautiful and hopefully heartwarming experience. So yes, it's been a transition, but it's been a thoroughly great one because I think that making video games is like one of the most fun things you can do. It's I mean, it's the best job in the world. But I think that for so many people that are in this business, in this industry, it's really not, because they're not working on something that they're truly passionate about, and they often work under pretty, like, you know, tough working conditions. I mean, there's long hours and lots of stress and all that stuff. And what we've tried to do with this game is that, I mean, there are some long hours in this game as well, but it's very, very different when you're working on something that's really from the heart and that you really, truly believe in. So that's been a very positive experience for me. And I think also it is a big departure from what we've done before, but it's a very deliberate departure. In that I personally, I wanted to make something that was completely different, that was a totally different experience for the player and a totally different experience for me as a game maker. And I was basically, you could say that it was one of the games that we were working on before, a fighting game that we did a bunch of years ago. That was not the best game in the world, but it reached a lot of people, and it actually, got all those people engaged. They were really, passionate about it. Even though it certainly had more than its fair share of flaws, they were still really passionate about it. And at that point I realized that games reach huge audiences and they connect with them on a level that's really like unheard of for like most other art forms. And I think that, I mean, if you swap out the context, if you shift the perspective, like imagine like you have a soapbox to stand on and you have 500,000 people who are listening and who are like clinging to your every word. You wouldn't just be like saying nonsense in that situation. You would try to say something that meant something. You would speak from the heart. And I think that's what we're really trying to do right now. We're trying to make a game that is speaking from the heart, because it felt really important. It felt almost like irresponsible to make games to keep making games that were like just, mindless, that weren't even trying. At least now we're trying to say something. Yeah, it's really the best thing. It's hard to put into words, really. I mean, you asked what the spirit was before E3, and we're kind of positive. I mean, we thought it was going to be well received, but there's no way you can ever prepare for something like that. It blows your mind, really. It's just like amazing to see just how people have embraced it, and that's why it felt like a really important thing to include all that fan art in the presentation yesterday, because it's one of those things like it didn't even exist in my mind, that people would do something like that, and just it was pretty mind-boggling. But also like it was shocking in the absolute best way possible, it was, but also, I mean, one of the things that feels best for me is when you're at a place like this and you get to see people play the game and you get to see them smiling, because that's the effect it seems to have on people. And I just, at that point, I get to feel like, man, I did something that's I did some good in this world. I put a smile on people's faces. Oh, that's heartfelt, and curious and beautiful. I don't know, maybe. I think that if you ask me that question, I would probably pick different words every time, but yeah, it's from the heart. So.